Okay, now that we've covered the My eLearning page, let's go into an actual course. Just click on the course name, and in this example, BB Training 12, to look at your course. If you have submitted a request to import content or executed a course copy, you'll actually see content at this point. However, as you are looking at a general default course, let's take a moment to look at its components. So, we have three major components to this course. The first one's called the content area, the next is called the course menu, and the final is the control panel. The course menu is used by your students to navigate amongst the different areas inside your course. Below the course menu, you have the control panel that is used by the instructor, the teaching assistant, and the course builder to manage and build the course. Please note that students cannot see the control panel. They can only see what you have visible inside your course menu and your content area. On the upper right-hand corner, you have a button called the Edit Mode set to On. While the Edit Mode is on, I can edit the course. If I want a quick student view of my course menu and content area, I can click on the On button and it toggles to Off, thereby allowing me a general student view. Pay particular attention to the course menu. Notice that as I turn the edit mode off, certain parts of my course and certain links in my course menu disappear. There are different reasons as to why and how things are hidden from students, and we'll learn them as we tour this course. So let's go ahead and turn this mode back to on, and let's continue to focus on the course menu. Notice that when I hover over a course menu link, such as course homepage, a drop-down button appears. This is a button that you'll notice throughout the course. When I click on the drop-down button for the course homepage, I now have the ability to rename this link, the ability to hide the link in case I am not ready to release this area of the course, and the ability to delete the link completely. I also have the ability to arrange my links when I move my mouse to the left side of a link and my mouse arrow changes. But I can also move menu links with the use of the keyboard reorder button, which is a button that has two arrows pointing in opposite directions. Both commands are available throughout the system, although it's important to know that some computers will not recognize changes that are handled manually. If you want to make sure that your links in your course menu, items inside your content area remain in the order that you desire students to navigate through, please use the keyboard accessible reordering button. I can further customize this course menu by adding additional links. So if I hover over the plus symbol on top of my course menu, I open up the drop-down menu for the Add Menu item, and now I have the ability to add additional menu items. Why add another menu link? Well, maybe I want a content area for additional readings or supplemental materials or useful resources. I can also add additional tool links such as discussion boards. I can even add web links inside my course menu to the UT Dallas website. So a course menu is very customizable and can be edited to meet your course needs. It so happens that in the process of planning this course, I need to create a content area for supplemental materials for the course final project. So I go to the Add Menu Item button, which is again the plus sign, select from its drop-down menu, Content Area, and from its pop-up window, I'm going to write Final Project Materials, and then select Submit Changes. You'll notice that the Final Project Materials link appears at the bottom of the course menu, and it has two little icons appearing to its immediate right. If I move my mouse over the white square with the gray slash, it reports that this link is deliberately hidden from students. If I move my mouse over the gray square, it reports my link is empty, that it has no content. This means that even if I allow my link to be shown, the final project materials link will be hidden to students because the final project materials does not have any content to show. So let's now talk about content areas. I'm going to click on the course homepage link, and you will see what a typical content area holds. The content area is just an area that allows you to build content, add assessments, tools, and publish your content. Before we start adding content into this course, I want to point out that the course homepage is also known as the course entry page. The course entry page, or the course entry point, is the very first page your students will view when they enter your course. As we saw earlier, empty content areas are invisible to students. Since my course homepage is currently empty, this means as soon as my students select my course, they'll see the first visible link in my course menu, in which case would be announcements. However, as soon as I add visible content into my course homepage, then the course homepage becomes the first page my students see. So let's now start building content. Since I'm now in my course homepage, let's select the button that says Build Content. As you can see, from the Build Content drop-down menu, I have several different types of content objects I can add. I'm going to focus on the top three: Item, File, and Content Folder. Let's start with Item. I can add an item anywhere in the page. Common uses for items include a header, a footer, a welcome paragraph, instructions, a banner image, or an introductory text, or even a module objective. So when I have selected item, you will now see on a page an orange asterisk next to name. This means you will need to fill in the blank. So if you do not want to see this header, you can change the text color so it matches the course background. So since this background is white, I'm going to choose a white color for my text. Below you'll find what's called a rich text editor. This editor allows us to add rich text formatting, which includes bulleted lists, different alignment options, font size, and font color. I can also add hyperlinks, images, and attach files, but at this point, I'm going to type in my module objectives. Once I've typed in the content of my item, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to focus on the options area. I have the ability to make this item visible, yes or no. Notice also I have the ability to restrict this particular item. So I can hide this block of text until a specific date or render it visible until a certain date. But if I leave these two unchecked and just click Submit, then this item is immediately visible to students. So now I'm going to select Submit, and here is my item. Now let's talk about folders. I would like to encourage you to look at folders first, or think about folders, as it's very easy for you to just upload lots of files, and before you know it, you have a long page with 10 or 15 or 20 files. Please spare your students the task of scrolling and hunting for information. Consider your organization first. How am I going to organize my materials so that it's easily accessible to my students? So now I'm going to select the Build Content button, and I'm going to now choose Content Folder. So I'll give this content folder a name, Module 1. And as a good practice, I will enter in the text editor. This material contains all work and materials for week 1 through 3. So now the text will appear just underneath the folder name. Keep in mind when creating folders, be sure they have a consistent name format and description format. Now I can look at the options below and notice they are the same standard options we saw earlier in Item. I can make this folder and its content visible or not. I can also date restrict this folder. Since this folder is supposed to be visible immediately, I'll leave this blank and hit Submit. And now the folder is visible and available with an immediate link to my students. However, I have planned for several modules, so I'm now going to create Module 2. And Module 2 is going to be available only after a certain date. So I'm going to scroll down to my standard options, and Module 2 is only going to become available after March 15th. And Module 2 becomes visible on March 15th at midnight. Once we've completed these changes, I'm going to select Submit. And you'll notice the difference between Module 1 and Module 2. Although Module 2 is visible and available to you, the instructor, you'll notice that it is currently grayed out and it has the message availability, item is not available. This means Module 2 is currently hidden from students. So hopefully you'll notice that you can easily set up your course to build upon itself. For example, this course progresses by making students focus on Module 1, and then after a decent interval, Module 2 will be available for them to start. Now let's upload a file. So I'm going to click on Build Content and choose File. At this point, I can click on Browse My Computer, which allows me to upload files from my computer. And this is the typical option you're going to choose. However, right now, because I am inside of a training course, I'm going to choose an option to browse Content Collection. Now, anytime you upload anything into your course, all of those files, whether it's an image, lecture slides, or syllabus, they all go to a central location called Content Collection. I can browse my content collection at this point and see some of the files currently uploaded into the content collection. Just as a side note, if I want to see what's in my content collection, or if I want to replace a file, such as a new version of my lecture slides, I can go into the content collection and view and edit those files here. As I already have files uploaded into this course, I'm going to browse my list and select Syllabus, and then select Submit. Now I can enter a name in the name field. Be mindful of what you write, because this is what students will click to access the file. I can also change the link options below, such as opening it to a new window or not, or allowing students to view this content immediately or within a certain date and time. Once I'm ready, I can click Submit and see the file that I've now created. Again, When we create and add new materials inside of eLearning, it'll always appear on the very bottom. So if I want to change the order, the best practice is to select the keyboard accessible reordering button, and from its pop-up window, I'm going to select syllabus, move it up so it's above the module 1, and select submit. And now we have finished creating the item, a file, and 2 content folders for our course.